Man, yeah, we're gonna get right into it, man. Get right to the show, man. We got these two black men that was beaten, shot, and sexually assaulted. That was done in Rankin County, Mississippi. They now have come to speak out. You know what I mean, on some shit that went on. You know what I mean. They can't speak too much because one guy tongue is halfway cut out his mouth, so it's kind of hard to understand him. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it after the 2 minutes is up, man. Cause yeah, man, this shit crazy. I did a story on it a little bit ago, maybe about a couple of months, and they was fresh out with it, man, and they did them brothers wrong out there in Rankin County, man, and now they press charges on the polices and stuff like that, you know. But yeah, we got the video. I'm about to show the video of these brothers, man, cause they went through a lot of shit. Went through a lot of shit down there. So yeah, we'll get into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. A story that we have covered from day one.
Black men harassed, kidnapped, tortured by members of law enforcement. Major updates to that story. We have those gentlemen on the program today, along with their attorney. I want to remind you of what happened.
You understand right here, knowing, what happened right here. Justice is what it all boiled down to. I'm just like them, whether they in uniform or not.
For 6 months, Eddie Parker has been living in a house of horrors where he says he was brutally beaten by deputies sworn to protect this rural Mississippi community.
I crawled here to this spot, and they started beating me here and tasing me. As you can see, blood spots and all. And my blood spots there.
On January 24th, Parker and his friend Michael Jenkins say that 6 white Rankin County deputies entered the home and tortured them for nearly 2 hours. A heavily redacted incident report says deputies were investigating, quote, reports of narcotic activity at the house. They said they saw a gun, though there was no proof either man had a weapon. In a federal civil rights lawsuit, the men alleged deputies entered without a warrant, handcuffed them, and subjected them to nearly 2 hours of torture and racist abuse. Jenkins was shot in the mouth during the incident. Mary Jenkins, Michael's mother, says her son will never be the same.
Well, I prayed with him, and I asked him, like I said, if there's any life in you, Michael, if there's anything in you, please squeeze my hand, please let me know you're still in this body. And he did.
Jenkins' injuries make it difficult for him to speak.
It hurt. Not bad.
Has anyone from the department ever reached out to you and apologized? Have they ever asked for anything at all?
No.
The 2 men are suing a half a dozen Rankin County Sheriff's deputies, 3 named and 3 only identified as John Does. Rankin County Sheriff Brian Bailey was also named in the suit, and he said earlier this month deputies involved in the incident were no longer with the department, although he did not confirm the number of deputies or their names.
Newest development, 6 officers, all 6, have now pleaded guilty to 16 federal and state charges. The attorney, Mr. Malik Z. Shabazz, attorney at law, real leader, real advocate. We have been covering this since the start. Legal counsel for both Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker. This was horrific. I want to remind you of that hospital picture we showed you initially. Michael C. Jenkins was in the hospital after he was shot in the mouth, by one of the deputies. Jenkins was left for dead. Essentially, his deputies rendered no aid to help him whatsoever. I remember the picture of Mr. Eddie Parker, Terrell's injuries. The crime scene of January 24th, 2023. Again, 6 officers entered the residence of Jenkins and Parker without a warrant, alleging they were there to carry out a late drug raid that resulted in both black men being beaten, sexually assaulted, waterboarded, assailed with racial slurs, and shot with tasers for roughly 90 minutes or more, all while handcuffed. Accusations of them dating white women were hurled. Items found at the crime scene: a sexual device on the left, eggs on the right. After officers attempted to sexually assault the men with the sexual device, both men were forced to shower together. Eggs were also hurled at the 2 men. Clarity on the agencies. Some outlets reported it was 5 Rankin County deputies and 1 Richland Police Department officer, while language in the lawsuit doc suggests all 6 officers involved were with the Sheriff's Department. Rankin County Sheriff Brian Bailey on the left, Deputy Hunter Elderwood center, and Deputy Brett McAlpin right. According to eyewitnesses, the identity of the ranking officers included Deputy McAlpin, Deputy Elderwood, and another deputy, Christian Dedman, not pictured. Back in late June, Sheriff Bailey said all 5 deputy sheriffs tied to the January 24th episode had been fired or resigned. Richland County Police Chief Nick McClendon, put him on, announced in the early part of July, former officer Joshua Hartfield was, and I quote, implicated in the January 24th incident and has since resigned from the department. Hartfield was reportedly off duty at the time of the incident. Now, there's a lot of information here. We want to make sure that, one, we have the absolute word from those who were victims and from the advocate attorney representing them. Thank you, gentlemen, for being on the program. Wish it was under better conditions, better circumstances, but here we are. How are you today?
We're doing fine. In this historic moment, first of all, we want to thank you, Dr. Ritchie, because you reported this case. You believed in this case. You stood up for the cause of police brutality when people doubted us. And now the hour of vindication has come upon the plea guilty of these 6 criminal white deputies that abused our clients and abused our black brothers. And so in this hour, I want to say that this is a good hour for us as black men, and in this hour, because we are standing up and we are getting some justice in this hour.
We appreciate that sentiment, but we simply did the right thing, attorney, just like you are. You're doing the right thing. I want to ask a question to Eddie first, to give us, in his own words, what transpired that day. What was said? What's correct on the record? What's incorrect on the record?
Okay, I got to say one thing about this, Dr. Ritchie. There's a sentencing on August 14th in Rankin County for the state pleas for the deputies. And there's still sentencing ahead for these multitude of federal counts. So, brother, Mr. Eddie and we in the Department of Justice have agreed that he will not recount what happened in the House, but he's more than willing to speak to you about how he feels about what happened,
Okay.
the pain and suffering he's endured, how he feels in his response to the guilty verdicts and all of that. He's willing to talk, but he's not going to go through a fact by fact of what happened because we're still in the criminal legal proceedings.
I respect that, attorney. Eddie, how do you feel now? And what was your sentiment when you heard that these officers pleaded guilty for the crimes alleged?
I was ecstatic. I was vindicated, for every word, that was said as far as our implications on what happened to us and what we went through. I felt, finally, something was coming out of it. I'm still kind of in shock. It was a battle yesterday, just thinking about, the end, coming to a near, for them being charged, and then, finally, saying, yeah, we did this to these guys, we were wrong, so, there's nowhere they can hide, no other way, no other time, they can get away from just sitting back, not, saying anything like, we were just making this up, I felt, I still don't know the feeling that I feel, but I know justice is being, done.
Michael, let me ask you this question, because when we saw the photo of you in the hospital, when my team and I received information about what happened prior and that the officer shot you in the mouth, what was it like after, the aftermath of this, the hospital stay, the conversations that needed to happen around why were you placed in this situation?
Okay, let me say, and I want y'all to be patient with him because he has been shot in the mouth. He has continuing medical injuries. He almost lost his tongue, and he's still been traumatized by this.
Yes.
Go right ahead, answer the question.
It was difficult. The hardest part, the way they did my mama. They left me for dead, and then turned around, wouldn't let my parents see me, and then guarded my room 24 hours, and just waking up, seeing them handcuffed to the bed, feet, arms. Man, it was terrible. It was terrible. So bad.
I would imagine that even after you're in the hospital, Michael, that you are likely thinking these individuals are going to try to do something else to you. Did that sentiment ever go through your mind?
Yes, sir. When I woke up, and when I first woke up, my mom, she right there, I heard her say, Michael, you can hear me squeeze my hand. I squeezed her hand, and I was waking up, and I saw her. And she stayed there for about 5 more minutes, and they were telling her it was time for her to go. I had just woke up, and right when she was getting ready to get up, and I looked over and seen the same police from the same office sitting there, and she was walking out the room, and I couldn't even say nothing to her. And I couldn't even talk to tell her what's going on.
Were the same officers involved in your, let's say, guardianship or guarding the room, who were also involved in what I say, trying to kill you?
No, sir. Not the same officers, but the same department.
Attorney Chavez, can you clear up the element where 2 departments are actually involved, from police to the sheriff's department? How did that happen? Where was the call or the genesis of this partnership?
This is called the Rankin County Goon Squad, according to yesterday's plea. This is called the Goon Squad. The brothers and the people in the community know it as the Rankin County Death Squad. There's a Deputy Hartfield from Richland, from the Richland, Mississippi Police Department.
They say they got a death squad? Man, these motherfuckers in Rankin County are crazy. They got a death squad. This the bomb squad where they got the goon squad where they go in and attack motherfuckers and stuff, go in their houses and stuff like that. For without no warrants, without nothing from the judge and nothing like that. Oh man, yeah, they gotta throw them under the jail, man. Yeah, they gotta get rid of them for real. Throw their ass under the motherfucking jail. Fuck that. You gotta be kidding me. Really? Oh yeah, let's get right back to it.
Inside of the local community, these individuals coming to your home unannounced. Was there a sentiment? I know you can't get into the details of what happened line by line, step by step. But when they came in, was there an understanding of what was really happening? Or were you all still confused as to who these people were?
I was at first, was confused of, who it may be, but once I got clear sight of who it was, I kind of knew, the gist of what was about to happen.
I mean, really, I'm speechless. Let me go to Michael on this one. Get a little choked up. I apologize. Michael,
Emotional moment. I mean, it's been an emotional moment for all of us. I mean,
sure.
The greatest part is there is a United States Attorney General, head of the Civil Rights Department.
Yeah.
She is a Black or African American woman. Her name is Kristen Clark.
Yes.
And she takes these things seriously. And this is the first time in a long time as an attorney and an activist that I've seen the U.S. Department of Justice really stepping up and doing its job. And so, some of the tears that we shed are tears of joy because there is some justice in this hour.
And that I agree. Some. Where do you stand, Michael? Where do you stand today? I know your mom talked about your road to recovery in a previous interview. What does that road to recovery look like from the violence that these criminals did to you?
Every time I eat, my jaw is like my nerves like a bad burn feeling. It's hard to explain the pain, but it's. If you ever had a toothache, I know how bad a toothache can get. Just imagine your nerve in your jaw. I almost have to go down to the table. Sometimes I knock my fork off my plate because it hurts so bad. I go down. It's bad.
These brothers, Michael almost lost his tongue. These brothers are going to have a long road, really, of trauma recovery. As Michael's mother said, she said that Michael he's unable to sleep at night. He's had a host of mental effects, from this that's going to take a significant time to professionally recover from. And so, but yesterday's guilty pleas takes us further down the road, towards his recovery. But it was a serious, this is torture. Now you imagine these brothers is handcuffed. Once you're handcuffed and these officers are coming in, calling them at other times, and over these 2 hours, as the plea deals pointed out yesterday, they were conducting a mock execution. They think this is funny. This was tremendously humiliating and embarrassing and unprecedented for law enforcement. And we're hoping that the sentencing it will help ease some of this trauma. We're hoping that the sentencing will send a message that this type of law enforcement must never, ever occur again in America. These type of law enforcement practices, that will go a long way towards the healing. But, they have messed a lot of people up, and they have messed these brothers up also.
Obviously, I feel as if these criminals who are wearing a costume, parading around as law enforcement officers should never see the light of day. Sentencing obviously will occur soon. Attorney, I have to ask this question. Was there any reason, I know there's no legitimate reason, was there a reason given for why these officers decided to target Michael and Eddie?
Because Sheriff Brian Bailey allows his officers to target people that they don't like, or, you know, I don't know whether McAlpin, who lived nearby, was asserting his territory. The general theory that I have is that they didn't want any black men in the area. In this area, they didn't want any black men, and they were like a gang asserting their control. And all of them were emboldened by the sheriff. This is not just 6 rogue officers. This is a sheriff that is, according to our lawsuit, is on the record participating in excessive force activities with his deputies. So this is a custom. This is a pattern of practice. This is a way of doing business. That's one of the reasons why they felt that they could just pick out almost anybody and go after them, because this had been tolerated. This had been promoted. This had never been brought under control by the sheriff and the county. I mean, this is literally a rogue operation from the county to the sheriff's office down to the deputies who entered that home. I mean, obviously they had been doing this many times before. To get to this level and finally get caught, obviously they had done this over and over again. So they didn't know Michael or Eddie, but they decided that they were going to commit these savage acts of torture, sexual assault, waterboarding, and ultimately shooting Michael Jenkins in the mouth. I mean, it sounds shocking. It sounds crazy. People had a hard time believing us. But I mean, today we are vindicated. It is all true. The worst parts about it are even what happened afterwards. It's so lengthy. The way that, like, we always talk in the black community, or the cop put a gun, the cop planted evidence. They say, oh, he ain't planting no evidence. He didn't plant a gun. Police wouldn't do that. They just think it's a so-called criminal making an excuse. Well, in these guilty pleas, they've admitted to planting attempting to plant a firearm, and that one of the deputies who pleaded guilty carried with him on duty a drop-down gun. In case they had to drop that gun down, he carried it on duty. And also, they stole the video recorder that recorded them coming in, that they admitted that they had stole the video recorder, concealed the evidence. Hunter Elwood went right to the police department, filled out an affidavit, said that Michael Jenkins had a gun and pointed it at him and notarized the statement. Elwood never would have notarized that statement and went right to the police station if he had not had a history of doing that and getting away with it. There's another case that's coming down the pike soon, same county. It's Damian Cameron. The autopsy said that Elwood, the criminal here who just pled guilty, Elwood and another associate of theirs, Luke Stickman, that these deputies who subdued Damian Cameron and he died. Well, the Mississippi State autopsy says of these ranking deputies that Damian Cameron's death was undetermined. Well, what's about to come out, doctor, is that expert forensic pathologists are about to tell you that Damian Cameron did not die from undetermined causes. He died because clearly the autopsy photos show that they were on his neck like George Floyd, and they compressed his neck so hard that his eyeballs had hemorrhaged and popped out of his skull. It's all about to come out, and it all comes from Rankin County.
Attorney, your leadership, brother, your advocacy, your fearless advocacy is to be commended. I submit this to you. You may be dealing with serial killers, sir. These may be serial killers who have coordinated a culture, and that culture has either been ordered or at least significantly permitted and protected. I want to do this in our closing. Eddie and Michael, I would like you both to just tell us what you think a solution is as it relates to this kind of misconduct. What should be done? You had this experience, you're still having the experience, but what would you like to say to those who are watching this interview? And Eddie, I'll go to you first for that question.
Maximum sentences. You know, that'll be the number one thing that'll stop, you know, a lot of people from even thinking about doing this game. The maximum sentences, I mean, that's what they would do, you know, to anyone else. So,
That's right.
I mean, I don't look at the cops being, you know, anything special.
And I echo that point, and I would say, because they are officers, they should be held to a higher standard
Absolutely.
of accountability, not lower, and not the same, a higher one. And the same to you, Michael. Yeah, maximum sentences. So we're calling for that with you. Attorney, thank you. I know you got a lot of work to do. I appreciate all of you gentlemen being on the program today. I know it's not easy to recount any of this stuff. Attorney, keep us updated. Let us know what we can do to be an advocate for justice with you.
Brother, you've been out front with us, and we have and you have the inside connect with us. We honor you. Thank you for being a pioneer and a stand-up reporter and brother. We thank you.
Sentiment, thank you. Sentiment
All right.
shared. I appreciate you all.
Oh yeah, there we go. There we have it.
5 former ranking.
Oh, yep, they gonna get their ass. They finna lock them 5 crackers up. Fuck that shit. Lock their asses up. Put them up under the penitentiary. Yeah, throw them up under the bridge and more. Cause that's right there, that ain't cool. Man, they did all kind of stuff to them brothers, man. Yeah, man, sexual torture them boys, man, with sexual toys and all kind of shit, man. So yeah, y'all need to check into this, man. Yeah, we want justice for these boys, man, for real, because I've been up on them. And I'm going to do some more. As soon as something else come out on it, we're going to be updated on these 2 brothers that been tortured in Mississippi. Hey, stay sane. Hey, man, you know who it is. Chee! Got this thing, man.